Well, none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots, yeah. None of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots. I'm telling you now, the truth, the truth. Telling you, yeah, the truth, the truth. You have to go back to the roots, the roots. Go to the roots, to the roots. Yeah, man, you know, this is Benjamin out of the Smiling Coast, West Africa, Gambia, representing for the one and only Abu, the big man you don't know, the Soninke warrior, the man that brings the truth, Soninke warrior, the sign of enlightenment, the Soninke warrior, the righteous and the true African. Abu, reveal the truth to them, you know, no matter how them try to run from it, because none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Yes, we have to dig back the roots, yeah. Fire!
Subscribe now.
I remember the days, all those years ago that never fade away. And I remember your face when you hit the ground. I can recall the time and place on a midnight walk through the old streets, trying to turn back the clock to the days of old, back to the days when all the things we knew were made of gold. As the world moves on, time sings a song. In the old neighborhood, as the clock strikes one, the memory lives just as it stood, like a quiet dream. The shadows of that time are cast beneath the streetlight.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Afridamus Report. I'm your host, Afridamus. I want to welcome all of you. Some of you are in the afternoon or evening. Welcome to the best show on this side of heaven, bringing you all the report from the weeks. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to hit on the interview that truly did expose, Ilhan Omar as a real fraudster. Her black card failed, her victimhood card failed, and I'm going to break down all that psychology. And also, I have another video here that we're going to break down of a Somali who definitely is pushing back on this fraud being pointed directly at the community. And he tells us, breaks down how people think, the mindset, and I can totally see what he's saying. And also I have another video here. We'll start out with that. Like a lot of the blacks here in America, they are excited, they're happy that the Somalis are facing what they are facing, but they can't just come out and say it, be like a normal American. They start making all sorts of weird excuses, talking about, oh, the Somalis never wanted to be black, blah blah. Look, it's not a matter of whether you want to be black or not. They're just not black. You are, if they say they are black, you would come after them and say, oh, you're trying to steal our identity. But if they say they are Somali, you are offended. But they are Somali. They have their own language, their own religion, their own community. They have a way of doing things. The United States government during George H. Bush, the senior Bush, brought the Somalis here under a program called the TPS, okay, temporary protective service, whatever that is. They even removed it for the Ethiopians this week. I just saw that in the paper, right? For the Afghanis. So places that have wars, somehow they seem to come here and get that program. So the Somalis, majority, they came under that program. Okay, status. They came under that program. So it is ridiculous for you as a US citizen. You've been here for centuries to try to get a group of people on the TPS, completely different culture from you, different religion, to say they have to, subscribe to your group. So this tells us a lot of blacks, they don't want to be black. It's like they want to run away from being black. So when they see people that have darker skin and not identifying with the identity that they are given, they get really mad about it. But a lot have been happy that this is happening. Let me see some of these chats here. Abiola, welcome in the house. Afro Fair, welcome. Rasta, he said, Ilhan Omar is definitely Caucasian. She doesn't look black. Yes, he said, why do Gambians hate Somalis? Sir, it's not about hate. Here's what you don't understand. A lot of you are totally not getting this through your skull. This thing is all over the news, everywhere. You can't hide from it. So this is why you should even be happy that I'm here to break it down to you, to understand what is going on. Okay? So Ilhan Omar, went to different platforms. She went on MS. I mean, these are all liberal platforms, right? So if you look at it, Ilhan Omar being a politician, a liberal politician, which I know this scam that is being pushed, the fraud that is coming out, she is not the only individual involved in this. Pictures have come out, videos. There's a guy that got arrested. That guy, had letter of removal out of the United States, but he continued to live here. The guy got kicked out of Canada for the same thing, the same fraud. So this is a ring of fraudsters running around. I'm beginning to see a pattern here. You guys remember Rhoda, the brick lady? She was Somali. That lady that came out lying that somebody hit her with a brick on her face, but it turns out it's a lie. In fact, she's facing jail time for that. She is a Somali, okay? In Maine, I'm going to bring that as well. Other Somalis are pulling the same fraud. I checked it all the way to the UK, Denmark. I've been doing lots of research. This seems to be a thing. It seems to be a thing, okay? I mean, they are literally putting the Nigerians to shame. But now, when you look at it, Ilhan Omar, when she went on MS, she tried to use her black card over there. Because you see, in 2020, when BLM came out, the Somalis joined in with the blacks and the white liberals to burn down Minneapolis. This is the politicians using them as a weapon, to fulfill what they wanted to do. So this fraud that they are talking about have ballooned up. Now it's almost at 8 billion what they are seeing. So it looks like the politicians, what they did was they opened the floodgates for these people to steal. But when they started they put the Somalis at the helm through Ilhan Omar and other Somali politicians. So they started talking about, if you report it, because white people, there were whites, what they did was they demonized white people. They started pushing the, racism idea, because, the blacks, anytime they hear the word racism, it seems it's like a magic word, they would join in. So when the whistleblowers started reporting on this, the Somalis, some of the Somalis went behind closed doors and started threatening these whistleblowers, white people, calling them, saying that they would report them as racist people. So that shut them down. The governor also shut those people down. So now everything is coming out in the open. So, but Ilhan Omar, since her black card failed, now she went back to her Somali card, which is what she's always used. So she's trying to sell victimhood, but this victimhood is not working because, anytime people insist on the victimhood, they are hiding something. They are hiding something. So that's what's been going on. Um, she is talking about, all the Somalis, but when you look within the Somalis, there is a division. Not all Somalis are involved in this. So she's holding the Somalis hostage. She's holding them hostage. She's not allowing them to be free. But most of them are now beginning to be free and they are speaking out. You have some goofy ones who are online talking about Minnesota was promised to them 3,000 years ago. And they are making, stupid little videos. They think they are being funny. Just like one of them made a video talking about they are going to start popping the ICE agents, federal agents. That's a crime. That is a federal crime. So now the heat came on. He's facing 28 years in prison. Okay. Now he wants to cry victimhood. It's not working. So I have video here from Ilhan Omar's interview, and you guys are going to hear when she's confronted about the fraud. She tries to use the victimhood card. And I have a video of President Trump talking about Ilhan Omar marrying her brother. Her brother. She doesn't want to address this, but this is not going away. In fact, the evidence is coming out, evidence, they've shown it. And this is causing a cascade of ICE. Now, the ICE, they are looking into how many fraudulent visas is amongst the Somalis. And this is not only the Somalis, because, there are lots of different immigrant groups that they would, like if one is a citizen, they would marry their sister, cousin, it's like do the chain migration so they can, become US citizens to get the green card. They are going to be looking at all of that because they said they have, hundreds of thousands of that type of situation. And once they discover that that's what you did, it's game over, because to become a US citizen, in the documents, it's written that if you acquire your citizenship fraudulently through lies, you can be denaturalized. So you're going to be seeing a lot of people crying. This is what I've been always telling people. In the United States, it's a free nation, okay? It's an individual liberty. You are here to pursue your liberty. You left wherever you came from to live a good and a different life. Freedom. Why are you continuing to attach yourself to a community or group that do not want to assimilate? It's a big problem because many of the, think about it, the Somalis in Somalia for 30 years, they cannot get along. They keep fighting each other. This is why Somalians are scattered all over the world, right? So if you're a smart Somali, why would you come to a place where you have the opportunity to be free from that community and you keep attaching yourself to them? Obviously, you can't get along. I know people are not going to like hearing this, but that's the fact. because once you were removed from that war-torn community and you are in a place where you can be freed from all that shenanigans, you should have packed your bags and go live a free life. But you would hear these people saying, oh, I don't want to be American, or even mock the American way. We don't want to assimilate. But then if you are, Trump is like, okay, we're going to send you back home, people start crying. That makes no sense. But let me show you a quick video here of a black lady, black American, showing how happy she is about what is happening to the Somalis here. I mean, talk about, hurt people wanting to see others hurt. I'll start out by showing you that. Here we go.
Excuse my voice. I got a little cold. Hey, Somalians. What happened? You thought you knew America, huh? Y'all talk like this country is yours. Y'all talk like y'all running this country. Y'all really thought that you was free in America. Ooh. Y'all really thought y'all was free to do anything you want in America, right? What you saying? We ain't going nowhere. I see ice out there in Minnesota. What happened? I see crying and screaming. What's going on? Yeah, because you thought you knew America. You called us all types of names. But one thing about black Americans, oh boy, do we know America. We know when people are being used. We been there. Y'all keep saying y'all next. No, we was first. So you really think you know America? This is just the beginning. You ain't seen nothing yet. Get ready to go get those flies back flying around your mouth and your ribs sticking out and your belly bigger than your head. Yes.
So you've seen and heard that. There is plenty of videos like this. I mean, it's just the usual thing. Some these blacks looking for attention. I mean, with the fraud that is going on, her and others as American, they should be happy that President Trump is uncovering it and making sure there's no fraud happening. Sure, that is great. But this proves like a lot of these blacks here have not assimilated. And when white people point it out, they get upset. Is they keep identifying with new people that immigrated here. So she is happy to see, you know, what is happening to the Somalis. But little did she know, in this fraud that is taking place, because this is during the COVID money thing, plenty of blacks have already gone to jail. They just caught the BLM lady in Oklahoma stealing millions of dollars. So what she doesn't realize is, yes, blacks cannot be deported, but if blacks could have been deported, man, many of you would fly out of here so fast because you align yourself with criminals. Like you have been the weapon that is used to defraud the United States people from money, because you're so emotional to a point. You're blind by race. You help other people to hurt your own nation. Other people can go to other nations, but you can't. Why are you helping other people to defraud the United States just because they have the same skin color as you? Makes no sense whatsoever. But she doesn't see that. Not just her, plenty of them don't see that. Plenty their feelings are hurt. Oh, these people don't want to be black like us because they are not black like you. Are you blind? They are not black. They don't speak your language. I don't understand that part. Why they want everyone to identify as that. So now let me show you over the week what President Trump went and did a rally. Uh, he hit on Somalia and Ilhan Omar again. Fair use. Here we go.
I think open borders are great, where prisons are emptied into our country, right? Where people from all over the world being dumped into our country, the people that aren't wanted in their countries, by the way. I think that's a great, like Somalia. Welcome. Do we have any individuals from Somalia in the group? Please raise your hand. That's for Minnesota, That's called the Great Big Minnesota Scam with one of the dumbest governors ever in history. I love this Ilhan Omar, whatever the hell her name is, with the little turban. I love her. She comes in, does nothing but bitch. She's always complaining. She comes from a country where, it's considered about the worst country in the world, right? They have no military, they have no nothing, they have no parliament. They don't know what the hell the word parliament means. They have nothing, they have no police. They police themselves, they kill each other all the time. I love it. She comes to our country and she's always complaining about the Constitution allows me to do this. We ought to get her the hell out. She married her brother in order to get in, right? She married her brother.
Yeah, are you guys hearing this? If anything, if anything, should ever make the Somalis, want to come together and build their country, these speeches about them all over the world, should bring them together. Here's the thing. People, you can bury your head in the sand all you want. This is what a lot of these people are doing. They are going now on CNN talking about, oh, we are so disgusted by, President Trump, calling out the obvious, pointing, saying these things about Somalia. But is he lying though? Is he lying? That's what the question should be. So you are offended by somebody actually pointing out facts about you. You're more offended by that than actually figuring out to come together and make sure this doesn't, people don't say this about you. President, and the race card, you guys are seeing it. I have been saying this, that there would come a time pretty soon, and we are in that time. The race card, calling white people racist, is not going to work. It's not going to work. That white guilt, even on the liberals, is no longer working. And I said the moment that happened is over for you people that like using that victimhood card. And we are in that time. You can't run around here, knowing your condition, the facts, because you have hundreds of thousands of Somalis all distributed in Western world, everywhere. And it's your own doing. You guys are fighting each other in your country to a point you can't stay there together. This is the truth. If people don't tell you this, they are lying to you and they do not love you. This is what the truth is. Trump didn't tell one lie over here. He didn't tell one lie. Who is fighting who in Somalia? Who? Isn't it Somalis fighting Somalis? Making the place unstable for Somalis not to stay there? So when the man says it, oh, he is racist. He is racist. How is that racist? The whole world can see it. Unless the people that want to pretend, try to fluff you and not tell you the truth. But it is Somalis fighting Somalis and making it unstable for Somalis not to stay there. 30 years. TPS, 30 years, that's a long time. And then on top of that, you go to other places that welcome you in. Sweden, somebody just mentioned it. Who is out there shooting each other in Sweden? Even Minnesota. So it's like, okay, now white people are like, okay, we've imported dangerous people into our midst. I am telling you what other people are not telling you. It's not like people are not seeing this. They can see this. They can see it. They feel like, okay, we've imported, the same violence that made these people leave their own country. They are bringing the same thing wherever they go. So President Trump is not wrong. I know this is going to hurt some people's feelings, but hey, you are seeing it right in front of you. And, she's been accused of marrying her brother. So she's not addressing it. She's not disputing it. That sign that it is in fact true, and documents have come out. It is other Somalis that even reported this. So you have to remember the Somalis, they have their own clan wars amongst each other. Do you know like the civil wars in Somalia is different clans fighting each other. So you would think, okay, since they left that country, the clan war would stop. Do you guys know why that Omar Fateh in Minneapolis, the guy that ran for the mayor of Minneapolis, you know why he didn't win? Because you see, Jacob Frey, the white guy that won, he was able to capitalize. He was able to capitalize on the division amongst the Somalis. They brought, the clan war amongst each other, the clan politics. So he was able to use that divide, because the other clan, they're like, oh, who the hell is this person? This clan shouldn't be over us. So see, that's the beginning. So if you're a smart person, you're like, okay, wait, they brought clanism here. What? If we don't put a stop to it, are they going to be, using AR-15s and AK-47s on each other in the snow in Minneapolis? Clan war? Is that what's going to happen? Because it's happening in politics. So Jacob Frey, he saw it and he used that to win. This is why he was out there pretending, to speak few Somali words here and there, and they voted for him. Based on that, he was able to use them against each other. The white guy is smart, divide and conquer. So the Somalis are like, we would rather the white man be in charge than the Somali, and rightfully so. It should be a white person running Minneapolis. Right, a white person. The white people built Minneapolis. All these Somalis running around saying that they built it. No, you just showed up there. You didn't build the place. Stop saying this.
Can you imagine if Donald Trump married his sister? Beautiful. She's a beautiful person. If I married my sister to get my citizenship, do you think I'd last for about 2 hours, or would it be something less than that? She married her brother to get in. Therefore, she's here illegally. She should get the hell out. Throw her the hell out. She does nothing but complain.
You guys you seen and heard that, right? You seen and heard that. The people are chanting, send her back, send her back. So what does that tell you? That tells you that the white people, American people, have had enough. And it's true. Ilhan Omar was running around here on television. All she was doing is complaining, talking about, oh, whites, white racism, blaming white people for everything. I mean, like, are you kidding me? Trying to tell, American people how America should be ran. She forgot that she came here as a refugee, and the war in her homeland have been going on for 30 years. She should be the last person trying to tell anyone how a government, a country should be ran. Okay? Even on the 4th of July, I have video of that. Like, I'm going to bring that another time. She, it's like she just wants to take away the joy of the people. And even Ilhan Omar, here's the thing. Do you guys know that she's married to a white man? This is something I have to study. All these people that, run around here talking about, white people are racist, even the gay ones, white men are dangerous. I noticed they are married to white men, even the gay ones. So this is a psychology. I need to study, I need to study this one. What is that all about? What are these white people themselves? Are they in on the fraud here? Are they in on the fraud, using these people against their own people? We need to definitely study this one here and know exactly what is happening. Okay, so let's go to a young Somali who he delineated from these, fraud thing. He delineated from the mindset. Let us hear what he has to say, because you see, you can just see a group of people, but you don't know the mindset unless somebody from within, from the community, comes out. Because you see, he would be the equivalent of like black people who are not with the victimhood mindset, who are against all the shenanigans. When they come out and speak, they get attacked. So it's like it's a risk. They would call you all kinds of names. So this man here, let me play this video. He did an interview. So let us hear what he has to say about the mindset of the Somalis.
Minnesota were unable to grasp the idea of immigrant poverty. They were more afraid of being called racist if they did their job to try and deal with potential welfare fraud within the Somali community. Our next guest says there's more to the fraud story, and he is a Somali American refugee and naturalized U.S. citizen who lives in Maine. He recently told the Maine Wire Steve Robinson that Somali cultural issues are a part of the problem with what's going on in Minnesota. And Abdi Iftin joins us now. Abdi, thank you for being with us here today. What is more to the story? What are the deeper issues?
First of all, thanks for having me. There are much deeper issues. I've moved into the U.S. And in Maine about 11 years ago. And basically the first question that members of my community asked me which tribe, I belong to. And when I mentioned, so I fell into that category. So there's a deeper tribal rivalry going on in the community, much larger than anybody can actually imagine. And then interestingly enough, even though I spoke very good English, one of the things that I was told to do is go find a discounted housing section 8, which I didn't know what actually it was, and sign up for all the other community benefits within the government or the state. And my response was, I'm actually here to work and build, basic and become part of the American fabric, which is.
So you guys are seeing and hearing what he's saying. So definitely, like, He is giving us the inside story of what is going on. Because you see, especially if people come as a group, in a place like America, they gave you everything, but you continue to milk the system. Don't you think eventually you would stand out? You know, in America, you know, when you look at it, the welfare system, I mean, I looked this up. It went by ethnicity. The Afghanis are number one in receiving food stamps, Section 8, followed by the Somalis. You don't think a government at one point would start looking into this? So it's a terrible idea. See, anything the government gives you, they can take it back again. The government can change at any time, just like it's happening now. Just like it's happening. So you can't cry. So this young man here is smart to, you know, move away and become an independent person, because there is no benefit in you continuing to live, you know, communally in a system where you can achieve more without trying to defraud the system. Because do you know that here in the United States, even people that you immigrate here, you are not, when they give you a green card, for example, if you take food stamps, you're not going to become a citizen. That's a ding against you, because you're supposed to contribute to the system. You are not here to take. You're supposed to contribute. Because, you know, if everybody was taking, the people that are coming in, you know, where would you come to? So let's hear more of him.
Yeah, I'm
Pretty much what I've been
incredibly
working on for a
fascinated by
while.
what you're having to say, so much so that I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just want to clarify. So when you felt that pressure and you were told to go join, you know, public welfare programs once you moved here, where was that pressure coming from? Are you saying it's like cultural, like neighborhood, like neighbors telling you this is what you should do? How were you pushed in that direction?
Well, it was coming from the community that actually thought that was just a way of life, right? I you know, instead of being asked about what kind of school I want to go to, what subjects I would love to study, and those interesting conversations weren't there at all. And my response was, you know, can we do better things? Can we as a community actually integrate? And let's listen to that word, interestingly, because that had got me a huge backlash. This is many years ago that many people thought, no, let's not talk about integration. And I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for a pushback against this idea of sort of melting into America, becoming part of America. And
Right.
let's just be very clear that I haven't arrived here as a young man. I mean, I came here at age 29, so I was well informed about my culture,
You know,
my community, growing up in the civil war in Somalia.
Incredibly, you're telling me you not only were discouraged from integrating into America, but you were also encouraged to stick to your tribal allegiances from back in Somalia. And those tribal allegiances and divisions remain here in America. That stat I showed, I'm curious, Abdi, about the percentage of the Somali population on some form of welfare, 80%, and stays that way over a 10-year period. Does that surprise you?
In some ways, it does not. You know, let me give you one example here. When I was in Somalia, a huge part of the population in Somalia, we're talking about 20 million people in Somalia, a huge number of that depended on $100 that family members in the U.S. sent back home. So there was not a lot of work to rebuild the country or get to work, or, you know, just basically building things.
So you're seeing it. Okay, there's somebody here saying, oh, the Somalis are not even receiving welfare. Okay, there's the chart right in front of you. Welfare use rates in Minnesota alone by household. You're seeing this here? The blue is Somali. So any welfare, Somali, it says Somali immigrant household, 81%. Okay. The orange is Somali immigrant households. Again, 78%. Any welfare, cash, 27%, and also 25%. You come to Medicaid, 73%. So they beat every demographic. They beat the blacks. They, it's like number one. You're seeing it. I'm not the one saying it. This is, over, in over 10 years. Over 10 years. So you can't wiggle yourself out of this one.
This whole idea of receiving things the easy way has unfortunately actually evolved and became part of our way of life for 30 years. And I really don't want to put this on someone. So I have like-minded friends within my community, but we're minority. We're actually shut down every time we try to speak out.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely fascinating. I'd love to speak to you much more in depth, Abdi. I hope we can stay in touch. Thank you for being with us here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Exactly. You guys seen and heard that. Like I said, you will see some people, it's like an ostrich, right? The ostrich thinks just because they bury their head in the sand, they can't be seen. No. People can see this. Okay? They can clearly see it, and he tried to call it out. He tried to, smarten them up. But I know people who have this type of mentality. I've seen some immigrants even who, just because they don't understand how the system works, they are not interested in knowing how it works, because they think that the place they came from that runs on ignorance is the same way here. Everything is monitored. Everything is monitored. So someone like Ilhan Omar, she is capitalizing. She is capitalizing. This person said, Somali community are not even top 10 in food stamps. Ma'am, oh sir, you can clearly see the chart in front of you. Like, it's in front of you. He said, this guy doesn't represent Somali community. And what's the last thing to tell you? Look, he is telling us the mentality, and it matches with what is being received. I can understand if this was just in Minnesota, but this is across the board in other countries in Europe. I saw this a documentary of this Somali guy, in the UK. He got like 2 wives, so he wants welfare for both of them, and it's like they completely abuse the system. They told him he needs to work. He's like, what am I gonna do for housing? He said they gotta give him the housing. Like, openly. We are seeing people, on tape saying this. So the guy is correct. It's become a cultural norm. And when something becomes a cultural norm, you are not even ashamed to say it out in public, because to you, it's normal. But you don't realize to the outside world, this is not normal. This is what is happening. They become so entitled, they think it becomes normal. And a lot of these people are coming here are old, already old, don't understand the system. They see America as a place where they are supposed to receive free stuff. That's how it's seen. Why do you think, President Trump is so hated? He's like, we're being taken advantage of, and which is true. Which is true. So now let us go to Ilhan Omar, the interview that cracked it wide open. I mean, as you guys know, the front Meet the Nation for years. Any of you that's always been keeping up with the news or lived here in America for some time, you're not biased, like me, you check everything according to the way it is. Face the Nation would either build or expose politicians for the fraud that they are, or if they got any oomph, how, what they stand on, what they are about, it will show it. So Ilhan Omar went on there, and we are going to watch this together. I would pause every now and again and give my commentary. And look, over here at the Afridamus Report, I give it straight, free, fair, unbiased. As you guys know, I'm not against anyone. I call things exactly as they are. So let us examine Ilhan Omar's interview, the answers she gives, the body language, and the usual, tirades that she goes on. So here we go. She's going to be, for some reason she runs. You guys can tell this costume, this costume is just a costume. This woman is married to a white man. I mean, talk so much about this Somali culture, right? She's like, oh, we all about Somali. White people are dangerous, but she's married to a white man. So here we go.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Margaret.
We have a lot to get to with you, but I want to pick up on where the Treasury Secretary just left off. He alleged that people who were tied to you or your campaign were involved in this broad, brazen scheme to rip off the Minnesota state welfare system. Do you want to respond to that? Do you know what he is referring to?
I really don't, and I don't think the secretary himself understands what he's referring to.
Check that answer. So, Ilhan Omar, they asked her about the fraud in Minnesota. Everybody and their mama knows about this fraud, but somehow she said she don't know. She has no idea what the secretary was talking about, and she tried to giggle her way out of it. The walls are closing in. Tell me you are a fraudster without even telling me. I mean, come on. This is all over the news. Your name is being solid or whatever. Your name is brought up, on it. And in fact, to make matters even worse, Ilhan Omar introduced a bill, 250 million. This is her bill that she introduced for the money to go, guess where? To Minnesota, for those people to scam it during the COVID time. This lady forgot that these documents she introduced are there. The tapes are out here. We've all been watching her going from news agency to news agency, telling us about how racist and evil the white man is and how they should receive all these funds in Minneapolis for her people. So now she doesn't know what's going on. Oh, come on. You know what is going on because you introduced the bill. So here we go.
We obviously had people who were able to donate to our campaign that were involved. We sent that money back a couple years ago. And actually, I was one of the first members of Congress to send a letter to the Secretary of Ag asking them to look into what I thought was a reprehensible fraud that was occurring within the program.
So this was, just for our audience, the Biden-era Justice Department called it the largest COVID fraud scheme in the country. And this was pocketing COVID-era welfare funds, more than $1 billion in taxpayer money that was stolen. It was pretty shocking. Of the 87 people charged, all but 8 are of Somali descent. And that has added to the spotlight being put specifically on your community. Why do you think this fraud was allowed to get so widespread?
Well, I want to say, this also has an impact on Somalis because we are also taxpayers in Minnesota.
Here we go. Trying to play victim. So, so they are asking her about the fraud. So now Somalis are victims. They can do checks to see how much taxes that the Somalis pay, which they already have done. So if you look at what they receive versus what they put in, it comes out as a net negative. So she tried to slide in the victim thing. This lady is holding the Somalis hostage and exposing them wide open. And I know some of these people, they are upset, but these things are happening right in front of us, right in front of our eyes. But someone like me and others, we are guilty for reporting the news, for seeing what is happening here. So Ilhan Omar was elected by majority Somalis. So she's saying, oh yeah, the Somalis pay taxes too. Nobody said they don't. Just answer the question. I mean, I'm sure, majority of the taxpayers are other Americans, real Americans. So why bringing up Somalis as taxpayers? Shouldn't that be obvious? But when she said things like this, it makes everybody, government, go and research and see how much taxes they pay. And they don't like the answer, because the answers are there.
We also could have benefited from the program and the money that was stolen. And so it's been really frustrating for people to not acknowledge the fact that we're also as Minnesotans, as taxpayers, really upset and angry about the fraud that has occurred.
Mm-hmm. So do you think, though, that there was a failure by the Democratic state government to police itself? This is a brazen, fraudulent activity here.
Yeah, and that is what I alluded to in my letter that I'd sent to the Secretary of Ag, was to see where things were going.
So she went from not knowing what Secretary Bessert is talking about to now saying, yeah, in fact, I sent letter. Man, this is not going away. Ilhan Omar is telling on herself. She's telling on herself. Let's hear more.
Going wrong. How can this amount of money disappear fraudulently without there being alarms being set off? And it is something that we have to continue to investigate. We have to continue to ask those questions.
Because, as
it didn't just disappear. Whistleblowers blew the whistle, and they put some of those Somalis to go and threaten them, saying they would call them racist. They use that to say, oh, we would call you guys racist. Ilhan Omar went on TV calling white people racist. She is the main voice for it. So what is she talking about?
One of the initial defenses by the organization at the heart of the fraud, Feeding Our Future, was to claim the probe was due to racism. Do you think that this was all about negligence, or that it was like political fear of alienating the Somali community?
So you have to remember that the woman who led the program is a Caucasian woman. And that was her way of making sure that this would continue to happen.
So it's the white woman's fault. This white woman have already been charged, right? She was part of the fraud. Did you see white people coming out here and say, oh, you guys are just going after this white woman because she is white? You guys see what is happening here? The race card. The race card. So is the white woman's fault? Is the government's fault? Is everyone's fault except the actual fraudsters? Are you guys seeing this? So she's now trying to blame the white woman
by using whatever rhetoric that was available to her. We do know that when the money was stopped, they did sue. The AG, Attorney General Keith Ellison, defended the department in that lawsuit. It was a judge that said it should continue, that money should continue to go out. And so this wasn't something that people were not looking at. There was always those alarms, and we will continue to understand where things might have gone wrong as these investigations continue and as these fraudsters are prosecuted and sent to jail.
Well, it's going to have impact for your community because we've already heard that the head of Medicare and Medicaid say they're going to have a new policy that applies to Minnesota. You heard the Treasury Secretary say they're investigating. But there's another thread here because House Republicans and the Treasury Secretary just now talked about a link to terrorism, a possible link. He said they're just now beginning to look into it. How confident are you that that's a false claim?
I'm pretty confident at the moment because
guys, does she sound confident? She looked up sign of lies. So mind you, they have TPS, right? To be here because Somalia is unstable. Why would, after people leaving that nation, sponsor a terrorist group back there? Al-Shabaab, they are sponsoring a terrorist group. You're stealing money from the Minnesota taxpayers to sponsor terrorism. Make this make sense. Yeah. You guys seeing the body language? The walls are closing in. She is very scared. She's very scared. Look, we're here watching everything. We're seeing it. Ilhan Omar, the good thing is we've had, thousands and thousands of hours of footage of her. We know how she speaks. We know how she acts when she's putting on the fraud. We know all that. But now she's been asked genuine questions. You guys are seeing the body language. And for me, it's like some of these people, they should be thanking people like myself, bringing you the news and breaking it down. If you are not one of the people promoting the fraud, if you're not, why be mad at the person reporting the news? We are all seeing this. We are watching this right in front of our eyes. We are seeing what she's saying makes no sense whatsoever. So it means, it's like, okay, I can see if it was like a foreign outsider fighting Somalians in Somalia, destabilizing it. But that's not the case here. They are fighting each other. For 30 years, they are fighting each other. So I don't get it. We've seen war in Liberia, Sierra Leone. Those people, they stabilized. It didn't last that long. All other places we know of, they stopped. Why not Somalia? So I don't get it.
There are people who have been prosecuted and who have been sentenced. If there was a linkage in that the money that they had stolen going to terrorism, then that is a failure of the FBI and our court system in not figuring that out and basically charging them with.
Oh, is the FBI's fault Is the FBI's fault? Is the white people's fault? Guys, are you guys seeing what I'm seeing here? It's not like Ilhan Omar is just somebody who's just like an ordinary person working at like a kiosk stand or, at the mall whatsoever. Congresswoman. Congresswoman. So they ask her about, money going to Al-Shabaab terrorists. But you guys see, she did not say in the affirmative that that is not happening. She said, but if that's happening, then that's the FBI's fault or the court's fault. Why is she elected then? Why is she elected? Why is she in Congress? Isn't this the same Ilhan Omar who ran on saying she's here for accountability? Oh, she's able to recognize all the racist white people. All the racist white people, but she cannot recognize money being siphoned from her area of control to terrorists overseas. Is the FBI and the court's fault? All right, let's continue.
With these charges, and so I do know that for many years, this sort of like alarm that there is money being transferred through the airport in bags and going to terrorism that accusation has always existed. There's never been here and there in those accusations. But if that is the case, if money from U.S. tax dollars is being sent to help with terrorism in Somalia, we want to know.
Yeah.
And we want those people prosecuted. And we want to.
Do you really want to know? Do you really want to know? Guys, do you have proof that Ilhan Omar sent money to Al-Shabaab? Sir, I do not, but the FBI would. Trust me. They're coming. They are onto her. See, this is not me versus you or anybody. That's not what this is. This is the Afridamos report. We report what is out there. We don't make it up. I did not, in fact, contact the, Face the Nation and say, hey, can you go and interview Ilhan Omar? No, she went there on her own. She got called in. So we don't report what didn't happen. That's not what we do over here. We only report what is out here. So I'm not sorry that your feelings are being hurt. I'm not the FBI. I'm not the judge. So it doesn't matter what you say to me. If the judge and the FBI comes tomorrow and say, oh, in fact, they were not sending money to Al-Shabaab, Ilhan Omar is innocent, I will report that too. I hope you know this. That's how it works over here. If they come back and say, in fact, she did not marry her brother, Trump was, mistaking in it. Oh, the Somalis are not, they were not, those Somali guys, those people who are accused of defrauding the taxpayers, it was all a mistake. I will come and report that as well. I hope you know this. So kick back and relax. Allow me to do what I do over here. This is nothing against anyone. We report what is out here. And we get it. Some of you, in the chat, you would try to twist it and say, oh, show me proof that Ilhan Omar sent money there. Ladies and gentlemen, did you guys hear even the reporter or myself say Ilhan Omar sent money there? This is sign that you're dealing with fraudsters. This is what fraudsters do. They try to throw you off, the scent, off the line. Once you get in close, they're like, oh, you said Ilhan Omar was the one that sent it. We know for a fact. that she should be smarter than that. She wouldn't do it herself. Just like one of the people that got convicted, got caught in this fraud. We saw her and Ilhan Omar. In fact, that's where she celebrated her victory in that restaurant. That turned out that restaurant was set up with that fraud money. Okay, you think she doesn't know about it? This is why she looks so scared in this interview. Don't forget, we know her demeanor. It doesn't mean this is her first interview. We know her demeanor. So the walls are closing in. But again, like I said, if the judge, FBI comes and say, oh no, she's cleared all of all that, the Somalis didn't defraud the taxpayers, I will report that too. But I highly doubt that will happen. Let's continue.
Make sure that that doesn't ever happen again.
So there are 80,000 people of Somali descent in your state, but the president has been very focused, not just on them, but on you. In this extraordinary cabinet meeting, he said Somalis, quote, come from hell. They complain and they do nothing but bitch. Take a listen.
These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain. And from where they came from, they got nothing. We don't want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it. Thank you very much, everybody.
That knocking is vehement agreement from his cabinet members there. I just wonder what the reaction is in your district to have that from the highest office in the land.
It's disgusting. It's completely disgusting.
No, Ilhan, you know what's disgusting? Defrauding the taxpayers. That's what's disgusting. You notice they gave you people TPS. TPS means temporary status, not permanent. Temporary till you fix Somalia. What lie did Trump say over there? Ilhan should have known that when you run around playing victim, complaining about the place that gave you sanctuary, at some point you're gonna get fired back at. Now, what's disgusting is defrauding the taxpayers. What's disgusting is, constantly complaining about the place that gave you safety. That's definitely disgusting. We're not going to allow her to gaslight us. Not over here. Let's continue.
These are Americans that he is calling garbage.
Nah, these are Somalis. They are not Americans. Don't gaslight us. We've seen, guys, I've even reported it here. Go and see it, where I said, oh, the Somalis are taking over. Go see it. Go see what flags they are flying. They were flying the Somali flags. They are speaking Somali to the people. I mean, you gotta own this. Guys, am I the problem here? Am I wrong for reporting what I'm seeing? Let's continue.
We feel like there is an unhealthy obsession that he has on the Somali community, and an unhealthy and creepy obsession that he has with me.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is a congresswoman. Yeah, I'm gonna run here and keep saying, oh, these people are racist. America is a terrible place. But when you get called out, oh, they're obsessed with us. It's a creepy obsession with me. Guys, come on. Come on. It is clear, like you, when you move into a country, as a group and you don't assimilate, you fly in your flags, that's an invasion. Do you not get that? That's an invasion. You cannot invade a place and expect the people in charge of it to just stand by and watch you take over. That's not how this game works. I'm helping you here. You moved to a country as a group. You refuse to assimilate. You create your own little area, your own business. You fly in your own flag. You speak in your own language, your own values. That's an invasion. It's an invasion. This is why these people are getting upset. People are noticing it. It's an invasion.
I think it is also really important for us to remember that this kind of hateful rhetoric and this level of dehumanizing can lead to dangerous actions by people who listen to the president.
And 95% of the Somalis in your state are U.S. citizens.
Yes.
Just for clarity there. But the president has restricted all immigration processing, including asylum claims from Somalis already on U.S. soil, along with 18 other countries. ICE reports it has rounded up about 19 people, and they put out press releases with the images of about 5 of them that they say are the worst of the worst. Is that the entirety of the crackdown to date?
Yeah, so far we know of the people that they've picked up in Minnesota. About 5 of them are Somalis. And from what I have read and from the people that I've spoken to, all of them had already had orders of removal. So these are not.
Oh, so now she wants to speak humbly on this. She didn't think Trump was going to follow through, right? She didn't think so. Weeks ago, she's like, we are not going anywhere. That's what she was saying. We're not going anywhere. So now Trump he's backing everything he's saying, what he's doing. Now he's doing it. Now she's like, oh, okay, it's just, since when did you guys ever see Ilhan Omar speaking like this? Usually her nose is flaring. She is, screaming, talking about how racist white people are. That's what she does, complaining nonstop. She noticed that's not working anymore. She notices that. Musa said, facts. Afridamus, you will never see me wave the Haitian Nigerian flag. I respect the host country. Exactly. You see behind me? You see my American flag? This is carved in wood. Carved in wood. It's not even like just cloth or carved in wood for it to last long. Specially customized for me. Okay? That's how you do. I mean, what do you look like? You're coming over here flying your foreign flag. If you love your foreign flag so much, why don't you go wave it in your homeland? I mean, that's just common sense. You don't need me to tell you that. And I know some of you, oh, look at you, that's being a sellout. Why don't you pack your bags? If you want to convince me that I don't know who I'm selling out to. Why don't you pack up your bag and your flag and go fly it in that country that you're so proud of? Maybe hearing it from me would give you some sense to understand that your behavior that you're showing, is not compatible with America. Yeah, they're not saying, oh, don't fly your flag. They say, just go. We want you to go fly it in Mogadishu. That's right. Go fly it over there. Because this place is not Mogadishu. So Ilhan Omar over here, she is clearly, indirectly admitting to fraud. That's a fact. I mean, these people are campaigning in Somali language. Over here is English. So how are people supposed to be able to vote for them? I mean, let's call a spade a spade.
People who are undocumented, but people who have committed crimes and who should have already been sent out of the country.
I want to ask you about something else that the architect of the president's immigration policy, Stephen Miller, said. On Thanksgiving Day, he posted, "No magic transformation occurs when failed states cross borders. At scale, migrants and their descendants recreate the conditions and terrors of their broken homelands." What do you make of this argument of failure to assimilate and sort of ruining America? How do you understand this?
I mean, when I think about Stephen Miller and his white supremacist rhetoric, it reminds me, yes, it reminds me of the way the Nazis described Jewish people in Germany. And, you know, as we know, there have been many immigrants who've tried to.
There's the white supremacist rhetoric. Here we go. The Stephen Miller that she is speaking of is, guess what? Jewish. In that statement, what lie did Stephen Miller say? I see no lie in it. That's just common sense. If you, the same way of thinking and culture that destabilize the place you're coming from, you cross with that into another environment, you are going to destroy that place. That's just a fact. There's a reason why you couldn't stay there. So if you want to practice the same thing, it's definitely going to destroy the place. Let's hear her compare herself to other immigrant groups that came here, Italian, Irish. Those people were literally getting their heads bashed in because they wanted to be part of the system, assimilate. They didn't come receiving anything. They came with their style added onto the system. There was no welfare for them. Let's just be honest. The Somalis definitely got a soft landing.
Come to the United States who've turned back, one of them being Jewish immigrants. We know the way that people were described who were coming from Ireland, Irish immigrants. We know the way in which people were described back then when they were Italian immigrants. And to me, we're yes, of course, ethnically Somali. We are in this country as Americans.
Yeah.
We are citizens. We are productive. Part of this nation, and we will continue to be.
All right, you guys seen and heard that. That is Ilhan Omar. That is Ilhan Omar. So Stephen Miller that she's speaking of is actually a Jew. So I would take some calls, couple of them. We won't be here forever. I want to hear some of the takes. And the person that's been active in the chat, this is your opportunity. Hit that link. Come and join the conversation. We want to hear from you. I'm sure the audience are dying to hear what you got to say. But ladies and gentlemen, you're seeing it clearly. Ilhan Omar looks very scared. She's holding her community hostage. It's not a good idea to come and try to, waving your flag and, saying we are taking over. I mean, it's going to backfire. It's going to backfire. And that's what you're seeing. Do you guys know they have like Vietnamese, the Hmong, the Cambodians there in Minnesota? They came way before the Somalis. Okay, yes, they have their restaurants, their stores, but they assimilate also. They assimilate. You didn't see the Chinese and others going into the US Congress and authorizing themselves or fighting to continue to sponsor the same thing that those people didn't even come from that, but to strengthen the destabilization of where they came from. So I hope this is food for thought, instead of just acting like people are over here talking about, oh, they are jealous of us or attacking us. No, that is far from the truth. It's far from the truth. So that's been the report of the week. Please make sure you like, share this information to the rest of the people to know what is happening here in the great USA. I will see you guys on the next one. I'll probably come in later to bring you the rest of the news. All right. I will see you guys.
Lend thy ears to the Afridamers. Pay attention to the Afridamers. The true Soninke warrior. Natural is his intelligence. As a true professor. Solution to brainwash diseases. Sit back, relax, and hear the wisdom. Afridamers will heal your minds. Sit back, reflect, you'll find no objection. Afridamers will clear your doubts here. Always log on to the Afridamers. Lend thy ears to the Afridamers. Is the truth and no doubt the Soninke warrior.